Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see.
Scruffy Crow.
Okay, so when I left off, I was pretty much working on my Beastman project. And I think we can blame them for my absence, if anything. Specifically, this unit of Bestigor, which still aren't done. Generally, the idea of trying to get that army done on a sort of quick time scale, quite repetitive paint jobs, and painting whole units. I knew these guys, specifically these Bestigor, were going to be a challenge. But I think specifically trying to get through this unit of 20, and knowing there was another 20 odd left to go, how annoying these specific models I find to paint. I think that crushed me. And what I started doing was saying, I will make this other interesting video that I want to make. I want to show this off. I want to do this. But I'll only do that once I've got these Bestigor done, and I can put a lid on the first 1,000 points, I think it was, of my Beastman list. And these guys have literally been gathering dust on my table, unfinished, for like a year now, I guess. The whole project in general burnt me out, I think, a little bit. And then these guys have just sort of really just stepped in my way. So I think for a little bit of time, I am just going to try and ignore these. I'm going to try and get these finished and move on with the Beastman project, because I am excited to get my oldest army that I had on the table eventually. That, and I never really got off the ground with Old World. And I always find painting and sort of doing a lot of work for a project that I can't realistically see me getting on the table is always a little bit more of a chore. Having said that, I have in the interim painted a whole new Old World army, but more on that later. Other reasons I have not been as active have just been all the standard stuff. Day jobs changed, and just, you know, I'm a little bit more tired in the evenings from that. There's been some good reasons too, like I've got essentially a whole new group of friends these days, and I've spent a lot more time actually out the house doing things, which is always good. And recently, I've also taken up essentially a whole new hobby / addiction that has been stealing a significant portion of my time and money, as you can expect. So, what have I been working on in the meantime? Admittedly, not a whole deal of hobby. As I said, the magic addiction has been getting in the way of that more recently. But I have got some stuff done. At some point, I got the opportunity to paint one of these troll hags. I've always fancied a copy of this model, so I was happy to give it a bash. The basing's not done, but I think she is. I'm happy with the outcome. So I used this model as a seed to create a whole new army, and that was the troll army from the Orcs and Goblins Old World guide journal thing. I needed a model for the leader that's in the book, the troll caller, who's sort of like a wizard who sort of controls the trolls. The official model was a little bit pricey for my blood, and out of stock anyway. So I knocked together this little fella using some sort of river troll parts. This is the digital conversion and an old orc body, and I'm pretty happy with the way that's come out. And then alongside these guys is 4 units of trolls in the sort of general flavours that you would expect. Another river hag, this time a third-party sculpt, Duncan Shadow Miniatures, if I recall correctly. Happy the way she came out too. I think of her as being the sort of the more junior, younger troll hag to the Forge World one. Old School Giant. And yeah, and that rounds out a pretty sort of simple and entirely unplayed so far Old World army. But obviously that did take me a couple of months to get through. Looking even further back, I also printed and painted an entire army for Star Wars Legions. I went for Ewoks, but the standard Ewok list was a bit boring for me, so this is actually a proxy Rebel list. Some of the units are actually Ewoks, but we've got sort of Tauntaun Riders, quite a few digital conversions in this sort of heavy, I can't remember what this is called, just some sort of great big gun, little digital conversions by me to allow things like that. And I finished that project off with probably one of the biggest digital conversions I've ever done. This is a Crate Dragon. So unlike most sort of digital kit bashes, all of the parts are still sort of nicked from elsewhere. It is still a kit bash. However, all of the leather straps and saddles and stuff are all my own work, including the reins that I'm quite proud of on the front here. And if you didn't know, this is a proxy snow speeder. So you got the 2 wing cannons and then the back gunner in place. And there was a number of other sort of digital conversions and bits and pieces I was really proud of in that army, actually. Once again, a lot of the army is not fully based. There is a second layer that I want to add. And I was actually waiting to give these guys a sort of army showcase video and talk about some of the models that I created and where the rest of them came from. And the basing that I used, because it was a little bit different to normal. But yeah, I just never really got around to it. So let me know down in the comments if you would like to see a sort of longer look into that army and what kind of went into it. Thankfully, that army did see table time, and we actually finished a little bit of a League of Star Wars Legion. The plan was to get back into it early this year with the new rules, now that the sort of game's changed hands and stuff, but we've not quite summed up the enthusiasm yet. There's been some other bits and pieces. I've been working on a game of my own, and I think I'm finally at sort of playtesting stage. So it'd be interesting to see if any of you guys would like to help out with that. Other than those 2 big army projects, I've not, as I said, done a huge amount of hobby. There's been a few little things like some extra Burrs and Badgers models and just a few spots of painting here and there. But it's definitely something I want to start getting back into and doing a lot more of. So, looking to the future, I have a lot of ideas for videos stored up. From my standard sort of halfling review videos, I've still got some cool models still in box that I want to get round to and give their own little videos to. That'd be cool. I picked up Burrs and Badgers V2 at Salute last week, so obviously that's something I think I'd be interested in, and I can foresee me getting some games of that in. I started a video before my break based on a Shrew warband. They've really not come along since I started that video, but maybe if we got some games of this in, that'll give me the motivation to get those finished. I've not even really opened this book yet. Maybe that'll be a video in itself. Also, I said my new hobby at the moment, I've spent more time playing cards than war games. If any of you guys would be interested into what lured me over to this dark side, or sort of how I find cards versus wargaming or something like that, let me know down in the comments what would interest you. I certainly don't want to encourage anyone though, because it is a terrible habit. I've also been considering expanding my hobby to just try some other things, and I do have, for instance, this Gundam kit that I thought might make a interesting video. I've even got a few bits sitting around for my old sort of restoration and repaint type videos. So a full range of stuff, from the sort of videos I've made tons of to completely new stuff. So let me know what sort of things you'd like me to look at. So all in all, a lot of things have changed for me in the last couple of years that potentially have affected and will continue to affect my sort of video output. But I still do enjoy making YouTube videos, and I still have a lot of cool ideas just all the time about videos that I want to make. I'm definitely not going to go back to a twice weekly or even weekly schedule, but I think I might try and push myself to get something out once a month. And hopefully I can make some stuff worth watching. So yeah, as I said, let me know what you want to see down in the comments. Throw a sub on if any of that sounds interesting to you. And hopefully I'll see you soon.
That was some nerdy shit right there,